Hello, everyone. So today we are taking a look into a spread, path, and outcome. This spread looks into your unfolding future. So we will take a look what energies surround you, what direction is opening, and what outcome is waiting to manifest. So you have 3 groups to choose from. I will give you a moment to choose, and then let's meet in your reading. Hello to those who chose the group 1. So about your current energy, for what your energies are now, we have 3 cards. We have the card of youth with astrological glyphs of Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, and Sagittarius, as you can see them in the left corner. Then we have the King of Pentacles and full moon in Aquarius. Be real. And in the youth card, we see 2 smiling children lying on fresh green grass. We see this girl in a mustard yellow sweater. It radiates optimism and playfulness. Yellow is a color of confidence. And then we have the boy in this blue-green shirt. This is all about curiosity and openness, expression. And we have this bright green background suggesting fertile ground and growth. And then if we look at the King of Pentacles, we see this king sitting in this robe, which presents grapes. If you take a closer look, there are grapes on the robe, and he holds a golden scepter and a pentacle in his arms. And we see the lion's heads carved on the throne. This is all about strength and authority. And we see the castle in the background, which is all about legacy, security, and stability. And we have these deep red, green and red colors and gold, which is all about maturity and abundance, and also about being grounded. So kings, of course, are about power, about grounded power. And then in the full moon, we see this large full moon dominating the night sky, and this solitary figure kneeling by the stream, pouring water, which is a symbol of the water bearer, the Aquarius. And we have this mysterious dark forest and these beautiful colors of silver and indigo and turquoise. And this is all about truth and clarity and intuition. These colors evoke, in a way, the 5th chakra, the color of blue, the color of self-expression and clear communication of your truth. So your current energy is very fresh and maybe even idealistic, like this new phase represented by these children. There may be some curiosity, even rebellion involved, and you are discovering things, trying things out. And then we move toward the King of Pentacles. So we have this, you're moving toward mastery, toward stability, and something very grounded. So maybe you are experimenting with something, or you're starting something fresh, and this has a very, very rich potential to become something very tangible and very prosperous. And so you are preparing this beautiful grass to give you something, to manifest something very concrete, and something that will be a true expression of your authenticity. And also innovation, because the Aquarius card is also about thinking outside of the box and to be very, very clear about who you are. And since it is a full moon, it amplifies the awareness. It's time to see clearly, to see beyond illusions, to be very, very true and real. So this position suggests that now you are in a moment of becoming. So perhaps you're curious about something, you're exploring something, and this already brings the promise of real success, so long as you stay true to yourself, so as you honor your individuality. Because if we take a look at the full moon from astronomical perspective, what is a full moon? So a full moon happens when the Earth is positioned between the sun and the moon. So then we see the moon's face fully illuminated because it's opposing the sun in the zodiac. So that's why the moon appears round and bright and very radiant. And when we talk about the full moon in Aquarius, this actually means that the moon is at about 180 degrees opposite the sun in the zodiac wheel. So the moon is going through the constellation of Aquarius, while the sun is in opposition in Leo, because Aquarius and Leo are opposing signs. So in fact, we have this axis, Leo-Aquarius, which is all about the tension between individual expression, that's Leo, and collective vision, that's Aquarius. So the full moon is a very brief astronomical moment, of course, but we can feel its energy for about 3 days before and after, so for about a week, let's say, and it marks the middle of the lunar cycle when growth has reached its peak. And well, it reaches its peak and then it begins to shift towards release. And so this phase is very strong because the sun and the moon are exactly opposite each other. So there is a big tension, and this brings heightened awareness and a lot of emotions and a sense of clarity. So it's like shining a spotlight on what was previously in shadow. So the water bearer, the Aquarius, is illuminating something very original, something being born from your individuality. So you may have a very clear creative idea that you want to implement on some higher realm or see it in some wider perspective. So this is the time to honor it, and you may feel a strong tension right now. The energies may be tense. We have, in fact, two tensions. We have the tension between the youth and the king, between the child and maturity, and the tension between original idea that you need to implement into this broader, wider vision. And at the same time, the energy may be also liberating. It's also about choosing what is truly yours and releasing what is not. So there is a kind of sense of urgency with the full moon. It's about seeing clearly and also about seeing clearly what no longer belongs to you. So right now you have reached a culmination point, and you need to move something into the real world. You need to ground something, some idea, some inspiration, or just move into a more mature phase in your life. And then we have the second position, which is the path ahead. And we see the repairman, the Seven of Wands, and the first quarter moon in Taurus, release control. So we see this a hand holding a delicate watch mechanism. And we see these bronze and silver colors. They're all about patience and precision. And this is about the path ahead, which involves healing and making adjustments, perhaps literally repairing something. So the progress is now made by attending to the details. And perhaps we need to recalibrate some systems that are slightly off. And we see this Libra's glyph in the corner, which also connects to balance and fairness and adjusting things. So you may be trying to fix or repair a situation, or perhaps literally waiting for something official to come through and to be fixed. And then we have the Seven of Wands, showing this man standing on a higher ground and holding this staff defensively. And we have this wide and firm stance showing courage. And this deep blue sky behind reflects the tension. And so this is the archetype of the defender. So we are standing firm despite the competition. So it may mean that on the path ahead you may face some resistance, but you also have enough strength to hold your ground. This is Mars in Leo card. So it's a lot about courage and having the ability and the energy to push through. And then we have the first quarter of the moon in Taurus. And we see this half-lit moon against this cosmic indigo kind of teal kind of color sky. And this is, again, we have these green and aquatic, watery kind of soft colors. This is reflecting cosmic awareness. Well, the first quarter moon is about a crisis in action. This is a time to push forward after the new moon, but it's also time to confront blocks. So, and since this is in Taurus, the message is about patience and trusting, and also not being too rigid. So the first quarter moon is about a week after the new moon. So this is about the moon has orbited around 90 degrees from the sun as we see it from the earth. So we see the moon as half lit, and the right hand side is illuminated in the northern hemisphere, and the left hand side is dark. This is for the northern hemisphere. So it means it's a kind of tension between sun and the moon, because sun is about conscious direction and the moon is about instinct and emotion. So when we have the first quarter, it means that these two forces square each other. They're 90 degrees apart. So there is a certain pressure, and we have the need to act, to overcome obstacles. So we had this intention perhaps set in the new moon, and now we need to test them. And this goes well together with the Seven of Wands energy as well. And then in Taurus, when the moon is in Taurus, we have a very steady and earthy emotional tone, which seeks stability. But then this is combined with the first quarter. So we want to push forward towards some practical action. So we need to find the correct balance between going forward, being grounded, but not holding on too tightly. And then if we look at the first card about the repairman, we see this screwdriver over the watch. And this also kind of mirrors this quarter of moon phase, where we need to make adjustments before the true momentum builds. So the path ahead is about respecting this rhythm and cycle of adjusting, of repairing, and also of showing resilience to follow your path. And then we have the outcome position with the cards unlikely. So this is a yes and no card, as you can see in the upper left corner, with the Y and N showing yes or no, and the number 9. And then we have the 7 of Pentacles and last quarter moon in Pisces, talk less, feel more. And then if we look at this unlikely card, we see this woman in a long dress, red dress, walking in the woods. And the path is not clear, and we don't really see where she's going, and in a way she's leaving something behind. And we have these muted brown and rose colors. They're like reflecting a certain kind of uncertainty. perhaps, or endings, as number 9 usually also is about endings. So at this time, the situation or outcome is unlikely to occur. So your path may feel long and ambiguous. You don't see the destination yet. But still, with the 7 of Pentacles, we have the promise of gratification, but it is a delayed gratification, because 7 of Pentacles is also about assessing things, waiting for the results. The results are coming, but maybe not as quickly as you may desire. And this is a Saturn card. 7 of Pentacles is a Saturn and Taurus card, which is about, time delays. Usually it is so with the Saturn. So patience is required and more evaluation, and things may not come immediately. However, the work that you've invested will eventually bear fruit. So just now it is time to pause and review and trust. And then with the last quarter moon in Pisces, we have this big moon with only a quarter of light left in this starry sky. It's a very dreamlike spiritual atmosphere. And the last quarter is a time of release and reflection. This is before the cycle ends at the new moon. So it's very interesting. In the previous position, we have the first quarter, and now we have the last quarter. And so you are invited to surrender control, to allow things to come to a natural conclusion, and naturally find their new way, a new cycle. So, the last quarter is about 3 weeks into the lunar cycle, when the moon has orbited 270 degrees from the sun. And in the northern hemisphere, the left side is illuminated and the rest of the moon is in shadow. This is the final square to the sun before the new cycle. And it is about letting go and preparing for a renewal, and especially with the Pisces energy, which is the last sign of the zodiac. Again, it also emphasizes this letting go, maybe also releasing any illusions, embracing your dreams, your ideals, even your spirituality, but releasing what no longer has meaning for you. So allow this moon, this Pisces wave, to carry away what is no longer needed. So in general, the outcome of your situation is not immediate. It may not be yet what you've been hoping for, at least not in this moment. So you need more patience and more reflection, and there is this long-term growth indicated. However, with the 7 of Pentacles, you can be assured that your efforts are not wasted. The seeds are planted, but results are coming a bit later, and you may need to release your expectations and quiet down. Just allow your intuition to guide you, and also embrace this space of waiting, which can help you realign with your purpose. It is time for more a spiritual approach and a more kind of emotionally releasing energy, letting go of the tension and expectations. And also it's about learning to trust the process, and also trying to see clearly that what is not yours perhaps is meant to dissolve. And then I pulled 3 cards from the astrology deck to give you some overall guidance, like an advice from the energies. And we have Mars in the 3rd house in Virgo sign. So we see this fiery red Mars, this warrior battling a dragon. So Mars is all about drive and courage, and we also had a Mars card in the Seven of Wands in the spread. So there is this fighting spirit in you, and it seems that in this situation you are learning about assertion and a willingness to confront challenges. And so the Mars is saying, don't shrink from the fire, but use your strength. And then but the Mars here is in Virgo, and we see this field under the sunlight. And well, the Virgo's energy is very diligent and humble, and it pays attention to detail, which reflects the repairman that we had in the previous set of cards. So now it's time to do the work. So this fiery impulse of Mars is grounded. And Virgo reminds you to be careful, to work steadily, to apply your energy, perhaps in some kind of service or practical-oriented ways. And we have all this happening in the third house, which is about learning and communication. And we see this blue light with papers and books and knowledge, and the figure studying something. So perhaps you need to literally study something, read some documents, perhaps learn something, discover something, and also be sharp mentally, apply yourself. Perhaps you need to exchange your ideas with someone, or perhaps communicate with other people in your close environment. So in any case, the advice here is to be diligent, to apply yourself. And now it's not about the final results, it's about how you walk the path with courage, with curiosity, with devotion, with humbleness. And now it's all about the work and not yet about achievements. And with that last quarter moon in Pisces, this is also a spiritual lesson for you. So embrace it, enjoy it, and walk the path with patience. Good luck. So a warm welcome to those who chose group number 2. So for your current position, we have the Spring card, which represents the new moon and the maiden, and it says within 1 to 3 months. We see the glyphs of Capricorn, Taurus, and Gemini on the image. And then we see also the Three of Cups and the first quarter moon in Scorpio. Release your blocks. If we take a look at this maiden card, we see this young woman sitting on a boat, and she's surrounded by pink, it seems like there are lotuses, and she's wearing this green and red outfit. And these soft pinks and purples show a certain kind of sensitivity. And with the red color above, so we see the red color covering her chest. This is about vitality and passion, which radiates from the heart and from the solar plexus. So she's carrying some new vital energy within herself, within her heart. And we see this green outfit symbolizing growth and renewal. So this card obviously talks about new beginnings and growth, and she represents the new moon energy. This is the time to plant seeds, to start fresh, and then to start something that will grow over the coming months. And then we have the Three of Cups with this classic Rider-Waite image of 3 women celebrating, wearing red, yellow, and white outfit. So this is all about sharing the energy. So it's number 3 in the water sign. So it's about joyful connection and overflowing of energies and connecting with others. And it can mean that we are lifted up by a company of like-minded souls and people, or perhaps we have achieved something and we have a reason to celebrate. So you are off to a very good start, beginning with this maiden and with this joyful connection and celebration of something that you have achieved. And then we have this first quarter moon in Scorpio, release your blocks. And we see this half-lit moon hanging in this teal color sky, and we see this figure standing in a tree pose on a cliff. And we see this indigo color and silver colors. Also these brown rocks, which emphasize the grounding energy. So the first quarter moon is about being tested. This is about pushing through the obstacles so that we can keep the momentum that started with the new moon. So in Scorpio, this is very deep. So it's about hidden fears, inner resistances, emotional intensity that we need to face. So we have this beautiful new moon with the maiden, and then immediately we have the first quarter moon showing the tests and the obstacles in the form of inner fears. So you have started something, maybe you have connected with the right people, maybe you are already celebrating some fresh beginning, and immediately you have the need to show your resilience, to push through any possible obstacle. So your joy of a new beginning may be a little bit obscured by the Scorpio intensity. Because the first quarter phase of the moon happens around 7 days after the new moon. So this is when the moon is like 90 degrees from the sun, and we see it as half lit, and it symbolizes both light and shadow and a certain tension. And with Scorpio, we have a lot of intensity and depth and transformation. So this may indicate that you are now faced with a situation where you are beginning something new, but at the same time, this will bring a lot of transformation in your life. And so astronomically, when the moon is in Scorpio, it squares the sun, which is in Leo or Aquarius or Taurus, depending on the season. So in any case, we have the sun-moon square, and that is a big tension that can be sensed as inner blocks or fears. So you are starting something new, you are this beautiful maiden, there is this celebrative energy, but there are inner fears and tensions that may be holding you back. So now we have the second set of cards. This is about the path ahead, so what the path is bringing right now. And we have the Flamingos card. This is about soulmates and lovers. We see the Pisces glyph in the upper left corner, and this is number 2. Then we have the Eight of Swords and the last quarter moon in Gemini, clear your mind. So if we take a look at these two flamingos, we see them standing face to face, and they are forming a heart shape, and we see these soft pinks and reds colors, which is all about love and tenderness and attraction. And behind we see this green background, this lush background, which is all about growth and vitality. And of course, this symbolizes union and potential for a connection. And they are mirroring one another, these two flamingos, suggesting partnerships and also some deeper bonds. So the path ahead includes opportunities for harmonious relationships and also any kind of important connections on your journey. And then we have this Eight of Swords card with this woman in a red dress, blindfolded and bound. The red, again, shows passion and also struggle. She's bound, so her passion is bound, and she's against this blue sky, maybe perhaps a little grayish as well, which can indicate confusion. And we see this rocky castle in the distance. So this is a promise of freedom if obstacles are overcome. And this card is all about restrictions and fear, and also self-imposed limitations, because this is a Jupiter in Gemini card. So Jupiter can exaggerate and go into too many details. It can show a very clear mind, a very quick mind, but also a mind that imposes limitations on itself, so that we feel trapped by our own minds and all the analysis that is going on in our heads. So that's why we can feel trapped in the situation. So perhaps now you may indeed feel trapped in a certain relationship, in a certain situation where you need to communicate your needs or your desires, and you may not dare so, or maybe you feel you cannot do it, even though the Eight of Swords can indicate that there is this castle waiting in the background. So you have a firm basis. You have the freedom. You're coming from a castle. You are a queen. So don't allow yourself to be bound. Allow yourself more clarity and courage, and free yourself. And then we have this last quarter moon in Gemini. Clear your mind. Very appropriate, very much going together with the Eight of Swords. And we see this half-lit moon. Left side is illuminated. This is in the northern hemisphere. And the moon shines above these violet blue hills. And we see this figure sitting in contemplation. We see these lavender, indigo, silver colors. Very intellectual tones. These are very airy tones. And the last quarter moon is all about release and reflection before the new cycle. This is the moon, this is the phase of the moon that is coming before the beginning of a new cycle, a new lunar cycle. And in Gemini, it highlights the mind and also duality. And so you may need to let go of certain mental restrictions, perhaps a lot of inner dialogue, inner thoughts rolling around in your head. It may concern a certain relationship or a connection that you are forming or that you want to form. And perhaps you have a lot to say, you want to express yourself. Maybe it's not the right time, because the last quarter may suggest that it's better to let go and relax and release than to push forward. So there is a lot of mental restlessness, but there is also this gift of insight if you clear your mind. So the path ahead for you is to become very clear about the situation and release what is no longer needed. Prepare yourself for a new phase. So your path ahead is about partnerships and connections, but the greatest challenge is to free yourself from inner limitations and also of a certain kind of victim mentality, which can occur with the Eight of Swords. So quiet the overthinking, find clarity, and also choose what kind of bonds and connections serve you. Do these bonds and connections lead you to greater freedom and harmony, or are they restricting you? And then we have the third position. This is the outcome position for the group 2. And we have the baggage card with the Pisces glyph, number 7. You can see the Pisces glyph in the upper left corner. This is about unresolved issues and also long journeys. We also have this fear of separation indicated. And then we have the Seven of Swords and the new moon in Pisces, attuned to the divine. And so in the first card, in the baggage, we see these old suitcases piled on top of each other. And this brownish, dark green color. they all symbolize a certain kind of heaviness and history being weighed down. So this shows that there are some unresolved issues and burdens, perhaps some emotional weight that is still being carried forward. And this can also show a preparation for a journey that. So before we can step into a new journey, we need to release the old baggage. And then this goes together with the Seven of Swords, where we see the journey, a man in this red hat sneaking away, carrying the swords, leaving something behind. And we see this golden sky. It's very interesting that the Seven of Swords has a golden sky, which is about strategy and awareness. So the sky is not blue, it's gold. So it's the color of the third chakra, it's the color of the self, and it's about a mental clarity. So it's about strategy. And this card usually is connected with strategizing and with being smart and even cunning. So there is a need for self-preservation in this situation. So what you need to do is to act in the way to take care of yourself and to even leave a situation which is holding you back. Perhaps it's not the right time to directly confront someone. Perhaps you need to be very clever in how you move forward, in how you choose your words. And also, don't hide truths from yourself. Maybe it's you that you have to have an honest conversation with. And don't carry too much. You may have to leave something behind, as this person in the Seven of Swords is leaving two swords behind. So leave the old baggage behind. So this shows a kind of escape route in this situation. Perhaps you literally need to escape this situation. And then with this new moon in Pisces, we see this dark new moon above these waters, and we have this teal and silver and black colors, very dreamlike image. And the new moon is about beginnings and fresh starts. And with Pisces, it's all about surrendering to the flow. And well, the new moon occurs when the moon and the sun align in the same zodiac sign. So the moon is invisible from Earth. This is the first phase of the lunar cycle, and it's ideal for planting new seeds and intentions. But well, it's black, so we are not clear where these intentions may lead. And especially in Pisces, things may very much be unclear and just still lost in the ocean, not very much formed. So now is the time for you to let go of anything that is heavy. Also confront any illusions that you may have about the situation that you are inquiring about, perhaps a relationship or even a professional situation, and allow yourself to withdraw, to let go of the baggage and enter into the phase of this spiritual renewal, because you are carrying too much. There is too much of an emotional load. There are too much fears or perhaps unresolved issues, and you cannot just bring everything into this new chapter. You will have to let something go, and so either escape or confront any possible lies or strategies. So there are two options. Maybe you are avoiding the truth, or you may have to avoid certain confrontations because they're just not. It's just useless to confront the situation up front. So maybe it's the best way is to let go of the baggage and just move away sometimes that is the best strategy. So what's important now is to take only what truly serves you. And with the new moon in Pisces, we have this promise of releasing and of renewal once you let go. Maybe you need to let go of a certain person, of a certain situation, of a certain dream, and remain in this blank state for a while. Because otherwise you will not be able to move on. Because we saw you all tied up in that Eight of Swords, and just being too weighed down by the old baggage. And just allow yourself to, for a new clarity to come. Don't overanalyze things. Don't try to talk about things endlessly or think about them endlessly. Perhaps it's time to just, relax and let go and trust in divine timing and for things to resolve themselves. And then I pulled some cards from the astrology oracle to give you some overall guidance. And we have the Uranus in Aquarius in the second house. So Uranus is about sudden change. And we see this lightning striking. And then we have it in Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus. So again, bringing more this new and freedom-loving energy. And this is happening in the second house, in the house of finances and values. This is also a house of immediate family and talents. So all resources. It's not just about the money. So the second house is about everything that we possess, including talents, resources, and people that we see as our own. So it may concern immediate family. So we see this globe of electric blue light, which is filled with lightning. And then, of course, this is the Uranus planet of disruption and revolution, and it shakes us. It shakes things very suddenly in unexpected ways. And it can be a very, very liberating energy, even if it brings chaos and disruption. And then we have it in Aquarius, where we see these crowds of raised hands. And so Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. So this time of freedom and rebellion is even more emphasized. So this is giving you a guidance to definitely you need to free yourself from this situation, whether it be a relationship, a financial issue, professional relationship, whatever the case, your journey is now about awakening and moving forward. Then we see this second house image with stacks of money and this shimmering green light, which is, as I said, about possessions and also values. It kind of reflects the what we hold on to, so what we value most deeply. So you need to find a way to be safe financially. You need to ensure that your material life and your resources are aligned with your values and not just with something external. So maybe there is a disruption in your familiar world. You may be really shaken up, perhaps even afraid, scared. Uranus and Aquarius can bring a lot of tension, a lot of anxiety, and maybe you feel like your resources and values are threatened even, but don't be worried. You will keep what you have. This second house energy is telling you that you are safe materially. You will find your perhaps new resources or whatever help or support you need. Also, you have a lot of your own talents and your own abilities to rely on. And At the same time, don't be afraid to cling to something. It is most important that you live authentically. So there is a sudden shift happening in this group. Something has shaken you up, and you are awakening to some higher vision. It may be very scary, but don't be afraid, because you are protected. The second house is giving you all the resources you need while you go through this change. And it will be a very much expected change, something that is very aligned with your true nature. It will strip you naked. You will start fresh, but you will be free and protected and safe. So I wish you good luck to weather this storm. Trust in the new life that is coming, and see you in some next reading. Bye bye. And hello to those who chose group 3, and here are your cards. So first we have your current position, and we see the bedroom card, intimacy and rest and dream time, and we see the glyph of the Scorpio in the upper left corner. Then we have the Page of Swords and the new moon in Virgo. Trust all will be well. So in the bedroom card, we see this luxurious bed with pillows and with ivory covers and curtains. We see these white, cream and beige tones which reflect purity and rest. And of course, the bed represents intimacy and something very private and a retreat. So this is a space of healing and also of recharging, and it can suggest needing solitude or comfort before you take new steps. And then we have this Page of Swords, this youthful figure in this red-brown tunic with yellow leggings. Yellow is a color of the mind, of the strategy, of the strategic mind, and he uses the legs and the arms to strategize, to use the mind, to be clever. And we see these birds flying in the sky behind him, reflecting thoughts and ideas. So we have this curiosity in this Page of Swords and the readiness to learn. With this sword, he's searching for new ideas, and we see this wind blowing. We can see from the movement of his hair that the wind is blowing, which shows thoughts and communication and change. And this card can be very, very useful, but also it can give you quite a lot of a headache, because it can bring too much tension in the mind and give you perhaps too much readiness to fight or to confront issues. And we see this Page of Swords looking at the bed. So maybe your inner space, your rest, your desire to calm down, to restore your energies is being confronted by new challenges or disturbances in your life. And then we have the card of the new moon in Virgo. Trust all will be well. And we see this dark, invisible moon, and this green hills, soft hills, with this mist. And well, the green is about healing and growth. And with this black energy, we have this potential that is not yet recognized or seen. And the new moon is always about intentions and new beginnings and something that is not yet visible. And with the Virgo sign, we have a kind of precision and healing, and also being careful to the details. So you may not see the results yet, or the situation is giving you a certain headache, but be assured that whatever you have planted, whatever new vision you're carrying, it is safe and you can trust it. Well, the new moon is when the sun and the moon align in the same zodiac sign. and then we see the moon's dark side facing the earth. So from earth, the moon appears invisible. So this is the first phase of the lunar cycle. This is the time to plant seeds and setting intentions. And so with this card, both the sun and moon are in Virgo. So the conscious, that is the will, represented by the sun, and the unconscious or the emotional merge in practicality, in health, in attention to detail. And since we had the bed in the first card, perhaps there is literally some health issue that you need to pay attention to. Perhaps some minor health problem, and there is a need to rest and heal, and also trust that it will be resolved and favorably. So there is no need to worry about it too much. So you have planted some seeds, or you have new intentions, or perhaps you are indeed in this phase of healing. And then with the Page of Swords, we have this inquiring, restless mind. Perhaps you are eager to discover something. Maybe you are looking for new information. Maybe you are questioning things, and you need to, or you want to learn something about your situation. But now it is the time to rest and trust that even though results are not visible yet, everything will be well. And then we have the path ahead position, and we have the cards Person of Earth, the provider or caregiver, the World card, and the last quarter moon in Scorpio. Reveal what needs to be seen. So we see this woman in a golden yellow sari with this embroidery, silver embroidery, with these big earrings and jewelry. And she is clasping her hands gently, and she's looking down, like maybe in humility. And of course, the golden color is all about prosperity and also wisdom. The gold is, well, the last phase of our internal work, where we become the gold. Silver is all about clarity and refinement. So we are working on something to bring some very fine, very treasured, very rich qualities out, to bring them out, to express them. And we see these earth signs, the glyphs of the Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn in the upper left corner. And of course, this is the provider and the caretaker archetype, very dependable. It shows this nurturing energy and also the ability to manage resources wisely. You're full of resources. So this card is showing you that you will be provided for. You will have the resources you need. You will be taken care of, either by yourself or by somebody else. You will perhaps meet a person who will help you. You will also have means to take care of yourself in all possible ways, be it material or even spiritual and emotional. And then we have the World card, this nude dancer within a green wreath, holding two wands. And surrounded by four symbols. We have these four symbols: lion, the bull, eagle, and angel. Like this, they represent four cardinal signs: Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, and Aquarius. So this green wreath is all about victory, and it's like a womb out of which we are being born. So we are being reborn from this beautiful green womb, and we are guarded by these four corners of the zodiac. Because in the past, the four apostles were represented by the four cardinal signs of the zodiac. So these four symbols of the zodiac can represent the four apostles. And the figure of Jesus Christ was many times represented in this wreath or in the mandorla, in the form of an almond, where Jesus was surrounded by this oval shape. So it has a strong religious and spiritual symbolism. But in general, the world is all about integration and fulfillment. So you are headed towards success and you have mastered your lessons. You are protected by the universe. You are being heard. So the four figures, the four cardinal signs that we see in the corners, the four apostles are listening to you. So you are someone who is being heard, who has something to share, a vision to share. So all the elements are coming together. So you are entering a very fertile and very, very fruitful phase. With the last quarter moon in Scorpio, reveal what needs to be seen. This emphasizes the theme that you are being seen. And we see this woman sitting on a shore beneath a half-lit moon, and she's holding this it's a kind of a sphere in her hand. And we have this emotional honesty emphasized in this phase of the moon. We are unveiling what has been hidden. So some truth needs to be confronted, and you will be able to let them out, to release them, because the last quarter moon is about 3 weeks after the new moon. So the moon is at a 270 degrees angle from the sun, and it at least in the northern hemisphere, it appears half lit on the left side. And this is the final square with the sun, and it's a phase of tension. There's a square energy between the sun and the moon, and this is like the last phase of release, and then we prepare for the new moon to come. So with the Scorpio symbolism, this relates to death and rebirth and something unseen. So there is something unseen behind the surface that is now coming out, perhaps some emotional truth that you need to assert, or even material or something very concrete that is coming out, because Scorpio is also related to our assets, especially the assets and resources and values that we share with other people. And so this path is showing that you are now completing a very important step in your journey. You're grounding yourself, and you are receiving all the care and nurture that you need. So you can be assured that whatever issue you're having, be it material, health-wise, relationship-wise, whatever, is being treated well, is now standing on strong, reliable foundations, and you are completing a major cycle. And something that was hidden, something perhaps yourself, you were hiding yourself, now you are surfacing and you are confronting what you have been avoiding perhaps. And the path ahead is full of stability and achievement. So whatever the issue is, you are achieving what you wanted with your honesty, with your integrity, and with being very grounded. And then we have the third position. This is the outcome position, and we have the bonfire, which is about enthusiasm and energy and passion. And we have the number 1 and the Sagittarius glyph in the upper left corner. Then we have the Knight of Swords and the first quarter moon in Leo, be humble. So if we look at the bonfire card, we see this blazing bonfire on the beach. It seems like at twilight, and the sparks are flying high and people are celebrating and they're gathered around it, and we see this passion and also the mystery of a deep blue sky. And these these black silhouettes, they represent a collective. So the collective energies are supporting you on this journey. You are doing something for the collective. Perhaps this is a community energy. These silhouettes, it's like people joining into your dance and your enthusiasm, and you're spreading your enthusiasm. But of course, it can also be too much. It can be about burnout, as also the last card, the first quarter moon in Leo is warning us. But still, we have this celebration and intensity and passion and joy indicated. And then with the Knight of Swords, we see this beautiful knight in silver armor charging ahead on a white horse with sky with clouds, which is about clarity and turbulence. And this is about swift action and also intellectual clarity. So this night may be showing that you are being bold and you are communicating your vision. But it is also a kind of a warning not to be rushed. Because Knight of Swords can be a very, very quick and very bold energy. And it kind of resembles that Page of Swords that we had in the first position, who was also facing the first card. So you are dealing with some bold ideas, perhaps with people who challenge you, with new ideas that challenge you, and there is this strong desire and opportunity to show yourself, to come out, to be seen, and to celebrate. So whatever you're going through, there will be time for celebration and people will join in. Then we have this first quarter moon in Leo. Be humble. We see this figure sitting in meditation beneath a half-lit moon. And we see these gold and bronze tones, which is about loyalty, about self-assertion. It can also be about pride. So a first quarter moon is a testing point. The challenges come up and they push us into taking action. So that's the first quarter. The last quarter moon is about release, but the first quarter is about taking action. And in Leo, this magnifies themes of creativity and also visibility and leadership. So, but the message here is humility. So the leadership needs to be heart-centered, not ego-driven. This is the basic lesson of the Leo. The Leo is the ruler of the heart, and not of the whole this persona ego complex. So this is your true lesson. Lead from the heart, not from your ego. And the first quarter moon is like about 7 days after the new moon, and it's a 90-degree angle from the sun. And this is the first crisis point in the lunar cycle, a call to action. So this is where we need to go through obstacles, face some decisions, and move forward. And with the moon in Leo, this is all about self-expression and charisma. You need to be careful not to allow the ego to take the lead, but your true charisma, your true heartfelt truth. Especially with the Knight of Swords, be careful not to go into some unnecessary battles. You may feel provoked with the Knight of Swords. This may come in like a situation or a person that will provoke you, but stay still like this person in the Leo card, humble, centered, and don't respond to any kind of provocation. Know that your charisma, your inner spark is visible in whatever you do. With that silhouettes dancing around the bonfire, you perhaps will be indeed leading people into something. People will be responding to you. And so perhaps you will be having opportunities to connect with others, to form projects and connections. And perhaps something that you've been working on will suddenly gain momentum, and things may start to unfold very rapidly. So you will be like this driving force with a strong energy and a strong will and power. But always check with yourself to be led by your heart. So your situation is about success. You are coming out. You are becoming visible. You are becoming, maybe gaining certain position, maybe truly leading people, inspiring people. And so lead with your heart and let your fire inspire and not dominate. And then I drew some astrological cards to give you some overall guidance for your situation. And we have these beautiful cards, all red, fiery gold, shining. Venus in Sagittarius in the 9th house. So the guidance is all about expansion through beauty and faith and wisdom. It's all about higher learning, about embracing higher vision. So Venus is showing your desire for beauty and success, and she's promising success. So again, those who chose the group 3 are going to meet a lot of success. You will be attracting people. You will be shining. You will also fulfill your desires to connect, to find beauty, also to find material achievements and abundance. And with this Sagittarius and the 9th house, which go perfectly together because the 9th house is ruled by the Sagittarius, this can suggest partnerships with perhaps foreign people, connections with people who live in other countries, people who are extremely wise, gifted, who have a lot to share in regards with intellectual or spiritual values. So perhaps you are going to meet with, philosophers, spiritual seekers. Perhaps you will join some groups that support this kind of activities. So it's all about opportunities to expand your horizons, be it with literal travel or spiritual breakthrough. So we have a lot of optimistic energy here. And so the guidance is to aim high and trust, have faith in your vision. The 9th house especially confirms that there is this expansion happening, because the houses are all about mundane situations. They reflect our earthly world, what is happening here on the earth with us. So you may take a journey, you may take a spiritual journey, you may start a new learning, or maybe you may expand your business through study, travel, or maybe you're just entering into a phase where you will look and embrace the vast picture. So this is like big vision guidance. So a wisdom is being born. And especially the Venus planet. Venus is the brightest planet in our sky. It's known as the morning star or the evening star. So basically we see it as a star, even though it's not a star astronomically. So its brilliance reflects your ability to shine. So you will shine with your authentic values. And the Sagittarius actually is pointing toward the center of our galaxy, the Milky Way. So the center of our galaxy is in the constellation of Sagittarius. So we are going to the very heart of existence. We are seeking truth. And with the 9th house, you have the Jupiter guiding you Jupiter is the Sagittarius planet, bringing growth and expansion. So seek beauty, seek truth, expand, trust. You are entering a very, very successful and abundant phase where you will shine with your spiritual and intellectual values. And this will bring a long-lasting success, which will also expand you collectively. We had also the World card in this reading, and we had that silhouettes dancing around the bonfire. So you are in a position, in a phase where you are attracting people and people are admiring you. So lead with courage, lead with the heart, don't inflate your ego. But I'm sure that all these beautiful energies are bringing sense of meaning and purpose, and you will know how to be a great leader and enjoy your success. So I wish you good luck and see you in the next reading.